Zambia viewers, for joining me, and welcome to yet another interesting edition of the Sport Smarts, the ultimate question and answer challenge. I will be your host for today. My name is Steven Chisenga, otherwise your very own sports common journalist. And today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so very much excited to be guiding you through quite an exciting journey of sports trivia and knowledge. But before we talk more, allow me to take a brief pause and we'll be back shortly.
The Information and Communications University is driving the thrill for the nation in research and development. Enroll now for full-time and distance programs in the School of Engineering, Humanities, Business and Education. To apply, visit our website at www.icuzambia.net or call us on +260 211 221 662 or 0966 342 359. Sponsorship is available. Enroll now. The Information and Communications University is driving the thrill for the nation in research and development. Enroll now for full-time and distance programs in the School of Engineering, Humanities, Business and Education. To apply, visit our website at www.icuzambia.net or call us on +260 211 221 662 or 0966 342 359. Sponsorship is available. Enroll now.
Thank you so much for staying with me. Like I earlier mentioned, welcome to yet another interesting edition of the Sport Smarts, the ultimate question and answer challenge. And ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Ladies and gentlemen, I know that I've been receiving a lot of phone calls of late, messages, people asking me to say, Sport Smarts. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an official announcement from me, your very own sports common journalist, to say, So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not alone in the studio. Also, I'm not joined by one, but two sports enthusiasts who are so very much ready to tackle a series of challenging questions with me right here, right now. I know I said a series of challenging questions, but today we're going to do it a bit different. We just dive more into having conversations, talking about football at large, the Information and Communications University Premier League, that's the ICU League, not forgetting the upcoming ZUSA 2026. That's going to take place at the Mulungushi University next month. Gentlemen, welcome to the Sports Smarts interview.
Good to be back, bro.
Yeah, it's good to have you back, guys.
It's good to be back.
A lot of people asking me to say, but we talk about football. So, first of all, let's just talk about the recent ended AFCON. So we saw Morocco being beaten by Senegal. Of course, it was a match that we are going to talk about so much. But to start with, let me talk about the group that Zambia was placed at the recently ended Africa Cup of Nations. So we had Comoros, Morocco, and what was the other team? Mali. So like, David, what was your prediction? Like, which teams did you ever think they are going to qualify to make it to the next round of the qualifications?
So yeah, thank you for having me back on this wonderful sport edition.
Sure.
It was a great AFCON, loved it. In our group, the group A, where Zambia was, we expected Zambia to qualify. Just a team we were rooting for, but it wasn't as planned. We were booted out from the tournament as early as possible, but a lot of learning from the team. We hope we'll pick it up from there.
So you expected which other team to qualify apart from Zambia?
Morocco was the only big challenge there because they were the host, they had backup and they play very good football. So
were you also part of the people mind Comoros?
Yes. So I expected a lot from them, but it was very poor from them.
Kegan, watching Mali play the qualifiers for the same Africa Cup of Nations, of course, they were quite spectacular. They won their group, and now they were grouped in the same group with Zambia, Morocco, and Comoros. Did you ever think Mali was going to advance to the next round of the competition in that group?
Like David said, obviously I didn't expect Mali to come out of the group because I thought we had the better squad than them, and I expected a better performance for Zambia. So like David said, I expected maybe Morocco to lead the group with us coming out as the runners-up. Yeah. But they played a good game. They didn't concede a lot of goals, and they managed to qualify without winning any game.
So talking about Zambian strikers, of course, we had a lot of complaints by fans saying, no, why would you start Fashion Sakala over Joseph Sabobo Banda? I don't know if from your experience, Mr. Kegan, you've watched Sabobo play, you've watched Fashion Sakala play. who would you recommend to start first? If it was you, like in a position of Coach Sichone, saying you're forced to make that lineup, that first 10 lineup, 11, sorry, would you start Sabobo or Fashion Sakala?
Obviously, based off performance, Sakala again, because Sabobo, quite right in the league, he's an upcoming player, he's got some talent, but based off form, Fashion Sakala has been playing some really good football in his league. He's mostly one of the top scorers. So as a coach, obviously, you always want to play the player who's in form. But again, there's some games I would obviously start Sabobo, because one thing I don't like about African football, we've got this thing of, no, actually, Omoiche is not yet experienced when they go for big tournaments. But when you look in Europe, a young talent can come even in Division 3. But if he's making heads, especially Brazil, look at players like Estaville, Vinicius, how they got.
I don't know if it's under 20.
Direct from one good performance in the league, they see the youngster and even guess the number, because he's one who's performing during that time. And that's the mentality you have to have in Zambia. If we see good talent performing in the league, even if he has no experience, football is football. All you need is just to back up that boy and make sure that you put an experienced lineup behind him, so that on the pitch he'll be as good as everyone else.
Mr. David, let's talk about the midfield position for the Zambia national soccer team. Of course, a lot of people were still backing up Klings Kangwa Machua, saying this guy is someone who controls the ball, but he doesn't just have backup. Those players he can play with, maybe number 8 or number 6 or something. Do you think there's a better midfielder that the coach didn't play at the recent ended AFCON? That was supposed to start maybe in the first lineup or something to back up Kings Kangwa.
The midfield was okay. We had good players, likes of Owen Tembo, David Simkonda, also Miguel Chaiwa. But I feel that was a bit low. We needed more quality, more player who's more attacking minded, because most of the players I've mentioned are OD midfielders. We needed players like Joshua Mtale, who can at least play attacking there.
You mean Bud?
Yeah.
Okay.
They really bring him down when it comes to national team selection, but we hope in the future that can be looked up. Yeah, so Kingsley Kangwa experienced, he's playing good football, he's in his role, scoring a lot of goals and assisting. So it was just sad that he never had that backup. Also, the Coach Mose made a lot of changes during the AFCON in the midfield.
Was he doing experiments or something? Because he was just taking over from Coach Avram Grant. Do you think he was making experiments, but he was still working with Avram Grant in as much as he would say he was making experiments for that particular tournament? Do you think there are some changes that he was making that would call unnecessary change? Sorry to use that word, unnecessary changes maybe. Or maybe there were some players which were just supposed to be given that time. Because when you talk of players like Fashion Sakala, there was a time where a lot of social media were circulating to say he was upset after being subbed off that particular game. So do you think players like Fashion Sakala deserve to play 90 minutes, or maybe they have to be disciplined in a way that another player can still come in when the coach feels like he's not performing on that particular match?
So for me, Coach Mose and Avram Grant, coaches have different philosophies. So what Coach Mose had to work out on paper was different than what Avram Grant tried. For me, I feel he experimented a lot in the midfield during the AFCON. Should have figured that out way before the AFCON. All was through preparing. Yes, and I love the discipline that he gave to Fashion Sakala, him being the captain when he reacted like that, being subbed off. At least that should show that he's the one in charge of the dressing room.
All right. To our fans, to our viewers, we're not leaving you behind. You can still comment in the comment section, and me and my boys right here will be able to reply to your comment section and just be part of the conversation. It's an interesting conversation, and we would want to hear from what you think, especially looking at, we're talking about the games that were played at the recent ended AFCON. So, Kegan, getting back to the final now, I know that we don't have a lot of time. We're going to talk about the group stages stage by stage, but let's just jump direct into the final. Sure. So we had Senegal and Morocco. What was your prediction before that game?
My prediction, I went for a 1-0 win for Senegal. Yeah, and I thought they were going to win it during the 90 minutes.
Wow.
Yes, because Morocco has a very good squad. Their football is very fluid. They are fast on the counter-attack, and they love to keep the ball. Wow. But when it comes to finals, I think Senegal has played more finals. I'm talking overall, if semis, quarters. They've got more experience, especially that most players in the Senegal squads have played a couple of finals as well. Then again, the physicality. Senegal is a very physical team, and I noticed whenever Morocco faced a physical team, like it was the game against Tanzania, Tanzania started very good because they were in high pace and more physical, but they just lost in the end. So I saw this saying, okay, if Morocco faces a team that's more physical than them, they tend to fail to keep up with the pace of the game. So I was very confident that Senegal was going to win the game for that reason.
Mr. Shaba, was it the same situation with you, like you predicted Senegal winning that game, or maybe you had a different view over the game?
For me, I supported Senegal. Morocco, sorry to say this, but Morocco was being favored by the refs. It was very.
Hey, can you please say that? Look straight into the camera.
Because the Morocco Federation, Morocco was being favored by the FIFA, which was very bad.
True.
Even his coach mentioned the Tanzanian game. That game, there was an offside for Tanzania. There was a penalty for Tanzania, but it wasn't counted, which was very bad. Then looking at the final was very dramatic. We had that penalty incident where Senegal is from scoring offside and just go make a penalty, which was very exciting. And players leaving the pitch, so it's so dramatic.
Yeah.
And I seen our social media the next day say no, Diaz missed that penalty by deliberately, which is not very true. I doubt if we can do that. A risky final like that with a lot of tension, them being at home. So we rooted for Senegal, and that actually happened. They won, and we're very happy.
So looking at the mere controversy that happened during the same match, Mr. Keegan, do you think the idea of Coach Papa Die instructing his players to leave the pitch was a good idea? Of course, he was fined later, but do you think it was a good idea? Because like Mr. Anchambo has mentioned, to say there were accusations of saying, a lot of people were saying Morocco is being favored by the CAF or the FA or something, like their federation. And yeah, so do you think the idea of the coach for Senegal instructing his players to leave the pitch was a good idea?
Personally, no, I don't think it was a good idea, because at the end of the day, whenever you're playing a game and you feel like the ref or the decisions are against you, I feel like it's better you finish the game, because the situations are by a match has been played, and if you file in complaints which are very reasonable and make sense, the situations are by some games have been replayed before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they would have found this. Obviously, the boards, if they've been fair, they would have found the situation whereby they look into the case and solve it. But what you do is, when you tell the players to walk off the pitch, even if in instance whereby you have to come back on the pitch, you've killed the rhythm of the game. Others mentally, you've saved the players. Now others already given up, saying the game is done. Even if they go back on the pitch, you find that the momentum is already dead.
Yeah,
so kudos Sadio Mane. He showed that's why he's captain. And he realized, saying, you know what, it's better we're on the pitch and protest here on the pitch.
And like
So,
going.
yeah, like going outside, because when you go outside it's a different scenario. But you protest on the pitch, you stop playing and go straight to the referees and call for maybe the president or people in charge and look into the case, rather than walking off the pitch, because you're completely disturbing your players. Even if there'll be a rematch, everything is now dismantled. So it's a mental game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So viewers, you're watching us live on the Information and Communications University main page. That's on Facebook. Not forgetting the Information and Communications University television. That's Icu TV on Facebook, and also the Zambia Research and Development Center, ZRDC, on Facebook. At this moment, we're going to go on another short break, and we'll be back shortly.
We kickstart your day with our headline pick, with the top stories making news.
Then we go deeper in our story pick, where we break down issues that matter the most to you.
From the Health Desk, we share simple tips to keep you healthy and informed.
For Classic Fitness Minute, to get your body moving before the day begins. And trending now, what's hot on social media?
Hello Zambia, my name is Amina Mutambo.
And I am Moluwa Eric J. Mwanamujende, and we bring to your screens the ICU TV Breakfast Show.
Thank you very much for still staying with us. Like I mentioned, we're still live on the Sport Smarts, the ultimate question and answer challenge, and we are live on the Information and Communications University Facebook page. That's the main page. Also on the Information and Communications University television, ICU TV, not forgetting the Zambia Research and Development Center, that's ZRDC, on Facebook. So gentlemen, let's now dive deep into the world of English football. So we'll start with Manchester United. Of course, there was that 4-game winning streak. And Manchester United faced a very challenging West Ham United, because I think I was going through some history, and I was checking to say Manchester United have never won a game at West Ham. I don't know if it's West Ham ground for the past London Stadium for the past, I don't know if it's 3 games or something. Yeah, so they were going into a very tough challenge, in as much as they are building their momentum and coming back to that Manchester United that we know. So, Mr. Acham, looking at that game that you guys played again, congratulations on your winning streak. First, 4 games, that was massive. So, going into that game against West Ham, did you think you were going to win? Like, did you think it was going to be an easy game for you guys, or you saw to say it was going to be a tough game, but you expected a win from Manchester United.
Yeah, we expected the win to give it 5 games in 5. But we found out that the game was very hard. Our tactics were exposed because we can't play against the low block. It showed even the striker we used couldn't play against the low block. It was very difficult for us in the first half. We considered the goal just early second half, which was very hard for us. Then luckily, Chesco equalized for us and we won the game. We wanted to win that game, but it was a tough. West Ham trying to fight relegation, so it's a bit tough for them being at home. So it gave us that fear, a bit of fear. But good to the team, no loss now in the last 5 games with Michael Carrick, which is showing some positivity. That's what we want to move. At least if we can play Champions League football, or maybe challenge for the title.
If you are watching us live on the Information and Communications University, please comment in the comment section. We just want to hear from you. What are your views over Manchester United? They've been playing well. They have a new coach, Carrick, and rumor has it that he's going to take up that position towards the end of the season. Mr. Kegan, talking about Benjamin Sesko. He's someone who's been playing well from the club he was playing for. So did you think he's performing in a way that you didn't expect? You expected more from him, looking at how he's performing for Manchester United.
So first of all, I'll start by saying I'm really shocked that you're congratulating a team, a top 16 for just winning 4 games.
It's been a run. Oh, guys, we're talking about Manchester United. Manchester United. Now we want to please. To let me know in the comment section. Now, comment if you are Manchester United, will be able to just reply to your comment and just be part of the conversation, please. Mr. Kegan, you're still saying.
It's amazing that you're congratulating a team in the top 16 for just winning 4 games. It shows how bad these guys have been, and obviously they're not winning the Premier League. But now looking at Benjamin Sesko, that I've been a big fan of that player ever since we won the Women's League. He's good. I love strikers who are good in the air. I love strikers who are physical and strong. And for me, I think he's a striker who's good for the Premier League. But I don't know if it's the tactics of football that's been changing. I feel like the Premier League has become too tactical. Tactical coaches. So these big and strong number 9s are having it hard to score goals. Because the game is now so tactical. So I don't think I would say he's a flop or he's not performing in the best way he could. I just feel like he's tuned this time now here because he has to readjust his type of play now to the flow of the Premier League, because it's now too tactical. Everything has changed. These goal poachers are now having it hard to play in the Premier League. But otherwise, I feel like he'll get to his best. I don't know who's challenging him on number 9. Is it Konya? I've seen Belmo.
Yeah, I think
I've seen Belmo play number 9 in some games. That's why Belmo is scoring, because he's more fluid. Yeah, so it's up to the coach to find a way.
I think it's a matter of Coach Carrick, like you say, to just like experiment and just see the best first 11 that he's going to be using. Still with Manchester City now. They had a game that they were playing against Fulham, and rumor has it, I don't know if they're just rumors or something, but people are saying maybe won't see Coach Pep coaching Manchester City next season. I don't know about that, but to our viewers watching, I don't know if you have much information about that. If there's just rumors, please let us know in the comment section. So Manchester City versus Fulham. Manchester City wins 3-0 to just reduce that gap to 4 points after Arsenal failed to beat Brentford. What's your take about the competition now, the top 3? Do you think we're going to see the same Arsenal that we know, or maybe it's just time, it was just a tough game against Brentford? Manchester City.
So for Arsenal, I think it's all going to come down now to the mentality, because right now it's become a mental game, because the fact that it's the way around the football world, and they know themselves, saying they've bottled the league so many times when they've been good and come out second. So it's all a mental game for them. Because imagine, let's say if Arsenal just loses 2 games in a row, what's going to be on the mind of the players now is going to be, maybe this is going to happen again. How do you avoid this? So they'll now stop playing from a position of chasing the league and now start playing from a position of fear of not winning the league, which is the difference. Yeah, so it's going to come down to a mental game. But drawing games, losing games is normal when you're chasing the league. But I think if they have that self-imposed pressure on them, even a normal lose will seem big to them, because they don't want to go to the league again. But Man City is very good at finishing the league, especially Pep Guardiola is good at finishing the league. So I just hope Arsenal keeps that gap at least even 3 points or 2 points, because immediately City goes level with them or above them, I'm sure City is lifting the league.
All right, so not leaving you behind, our viewers, we're still live on the Information and Communications University Television, that's Icu TV, also on the Zambia Research and Development Center, that's ZRDC. Fast forward, Mr. Chamba, we're talking about Spain's La Liga now. So we had the game last night that took place, that was Barcelona Atletico Madrid, Copa del Rey first leg, semi-final. I know that Barcelona have had a good run, and of course they had injured players going into that game, but did you expect Barcelona being trashed like that by Atletico Madrid?
That was a very big loss by Barcelona. Especially the first half. First half was so. By the second half, I was asleep, so I was so shocked.
Wait, you just said by the second half you were asleep?
Yeah, by the second half, I was it was very sad because I support Barcelona with Rashford being there, so I give them that backup. So, but it was a very huge loss by Barcelona. Being trashed like that, it was a very big disgrace. I don't know what we can call it, but so sad for the coach and his boys. I hope they can pick up their form in the second leg. But 4-0 is a big scoreline. I remember Liverpool versus Barcelona.
Oh yeah. It was I think it was a 3-0 win.
3-0.
Yeah. So
it was a comeback.
Football, there are comebacks in football, so we believe in that. We just hope the Bulgarians believe in that.
We don't know what's going to happen. Mr. Kiga, still on the same game, Atletico Madrid signs Ademola Lookman. First game he plays the Copa del Rey, he scores and assists against Real Sociedad. Now he plays against Barcelona, he scores and assists. Do you think he's adapting already to that Spain environment, or he still has a lot of time? He's just super good as Ademola Lookman?
Yeah, first of all, kudos to Lookman. Personally, I feel like he's one of those underrated players because he's a very good winger. He's a very good winner. He loves to get in the box. He loves to assist. He loves to always be in the box and give defenders a hard time. So looking at the way La Liga mostly plays football, I think Lookman is meant for such type of league. Because if you look at yesterday's game, that highline that Barcelona plays, I feel like that's what's been costing them. The famous highline. The famous highline, I don't think the highline is one of the best strategies in football. Personally, I feel like it's
but it worked last season. Sorry to cut you short. It was working last season. People were being ruled out for offside. So I think it's the same mentality that maybe Coach Hansi Flick is still telling the players, because already we've had people complaining about Barcelona's back four ever since Inigo Martinez left. So I think maybe they're still trying to work on it around, but you still have a different view of it.
Yeah. So the highline is a strategy that has been there for some time. But it's a strategy that depends on the type of defenders you have. Oh, yeah. So there was a time Atletico Madrid themselves used to play the highline a lot in La Liga. That's why we used to hate playing against them. But it depends on the defenders you have. So Barcelona's, if you're playing physical defenders like Araujo and maybe the likes of, let's say if you're playing players like Rudiger, they're not going to play those such players are not capable of playing the highline. They end up making a lot of red cards, a lot of fouls.
Because of their pace.
So the highline requires defenders who are a bit more tactical and good readers of the game. Because all you're doing in the highline, you're just trying to kill the offsides.
Yes.
So if you're not good at reading the game and you've got pacey strikers, you're most likely going to concede goals. That's how you concede 4 goals in the first half. That shows how bad the line can be if it's against you on that day. Oh, yeah. So looking at the Champions League, I think Barcelona should go for a different tactic, because that tactic in the Champions League, you can't depend on offsides. I think a lot of strikers are going to break that high line and score a lot of goals.
All right, David, Rafinha has been a key player for Barcelona because he's played 6 games. Of the 6 games that he's played, they've only lost 1 game, and that was the game they lost to Chelsea. Abenake Gani, Marisa winner Barcelona. That was like 2-0. Yeah, that's the only game that Rafinha lost, and he only played 30 minutes of that game. So it means Rafinha has been a key player for Barcelona. So looking at the fact that on the second leg, he's going to play and we still face Atletico and we have to come back to do that remontada, do you think it's going to work if Rafinha and Rashford are back for Barcelona?
Yeah, it's possible. Rafinha imposes that chemistry in the team, because I remember when the start of the season he was injured, and when he came back we saw that solid structure in the team. So I feel he's got great impact. Him being the captain, knows how to control his boys like Yamal and the rest, Ferran. So he knows how to control, how to put the boys in shape. He's a glue for the team. So he's going to be a big impact in the second. Again, Barca being at Spotify Camp Nou, that will be also a plus for them.
To our viewers, we're not leaving you behind. You can still get in touch with us or be part of the conversation by commenting in the comment box on the Information and Communications University Television, that's Icu TV on Facebook. Also, the Zambia Research and Development Center, ZRDC on Facebook. Right about now, we'll go on our last break, and when we come back, we'll talk about more and more of football. See you shortly.
We are the dreamers reaching for the sky. And I see you, together we will rise. With knowledge and passion we aim to achieve a future so bright, with more to believe. We're building
Are the best graduating students, masters in the School of Humanities.
won't be denied. From Lusaka to the world we stand tall and strong.
Hi, I'm Genea Moyo, and I am ICU.
We're rising high with education.
Hello, our awesome viewers. We're still live on the Information and Communications University, that's Icu TV, on Facebook, not forgetting the Zambia Research and Development Center. And you're watching the Sport Smarts, a show that comes to you live every Friday around 16 hours. So guys, before tamla bola para Saturday na Sunday, it's Friday. Just know that at 16 hours on the Information and Communications University, Malatsanga, the Sport Smarts, the ultimate question and answer challenge. So this is a platform where we get to share knowledge about football, because while we games that are somewhat the 2010 World Cup. So we just try by all means to get back to those games and just have a conversation over it. Maybe some of them were saying, no, akali tualiaba, so we never had time to discuss about Fernando Torres being in form, not forgetting the likes of Diego Forlan, abashala badama players abale tiafe bola, ladies and gentlemen. So please, the Sports Smarts ngamamona feni Friday, it's a show that you should be tuning on, and we'll be getting interactive by replying to your comments, replying back to your comments, and just making sure that you call in and we get back to your calls and talk football, because the whole point of having the Sportsman is just discussing football and getting to share knowledge about the world of football. Gents, let's now go straight to the Information and Communications University League. I've been hearing to say there are a lot of ups and downs. Teams, teams. I'm told Fabrizio is now planning on getting his own team. There are some people, whether the boys, you've moved, could have split, whether Bisaka, they have joined the Sugar Daddies. So like, how many teams are we going to have like in the next Information and Communications University League?
Okay, so the league was we're actually supposed to start the league. We said somewhere by the 30th of January, but due to the fact that, like you said, a lot of teams are restructuring right now, and the squad number was reduced. So last season it was 18 squad man, but right now it's 15.
So it's 15 now.
Sorry, 16 rather.
Okay.
Yeah. So we put that. Yeah, it's a good number. We're looking at we don't play one game each weekend, and we did that for the sake of participation, because we need more teams than like last time. So we need teams to release players so that we can have more participation. But yeah, I'm seeing a lot of reshuffling in teams. People are creating new teams, which is actually very good for the league, because we didn't want to have the same structure, the same teams we had last season. So it's good when you see teams breaking down and signing new players and restructuring everything. That's what we're encouraging actually as being part of the boards. But we just hope the teams are not going to restructure too much to the point of by other teams remain completely destroyed. So they should be cautious on that one, whereby just do a few transfers, don't do it too much, maintain the squad depths, maintain some players, and we hope it's going to be a competitive season.
Talking of the same transfers, I think I only saw 2 transfers, if I'm not mistaken. I stand to be corrected. I think I only saw Akim being signed under Kafue Celtics, and you guys, Athletic Pirates, of course, you signed Jabulan. That's a very good midfielder to just enforce that midfield. Mr. Achambwa, let's talk about the boys. How is it going? Like, are there reshuffles, or maybe we're still facing that red, the boys? If the boys signings, of course, it wasn't a good season for you last season. You guys were hopeful of winning the league, not until Kafue Celtic, because guys were underrated Kafue Celtic. So, talking about the boys, what's happening with the boys?
I'll be jeopardizing my rights to talk about the boys right now.
What do you mean? You're live on the biggest platform, the Sportsman.
The boys is dead.
So, no, I want to say the boys dead might be suit, but talking about the boys is a good team, showed good experience.
I asked you this question because you were playing for the boys.
Yes, but my journey with the boys,
what's happening now?
my journey with the boys, and I just don't know why Fabrizio is not posting it.
Of course, Fabrizio. I see you, Fabrizio. Pay information, guys. A lot of people look up to the Information and Communications University League page. So Fabrizio should be giving us information.
Yeah, but the boys, it's really crazy right now because their coach was fired. Sorry to disclose this. Their coach was fired, players are leaving, so we don't know what's next for the boys. So we might hear today, we might hear updates from the boys, but it's looking like a sad ending for them.
Okay, so I'm sure a lot of players from the boys are watching this live. The boys, this is Tulemi Pusha. We want to know what's happening. The boys want to know if you are still going to compete in the league, because I think it's a very good team that we enjoy playing with. Yeah. They have quite a number of players, good players. They have having a Peter Chewe. They have having a Kennedy, the veteran Kennedy JRS Guidi. Of course, Bisaka, not forgetting the likes of Bisaka, having a Gatomo. Very good players. Yeah. So we still need a team like the boys. So, like David, I said, we don't want to talk much about the boys. So now, Mr. David, what are we talking about? Since we're not talking about the boys, which team are you playing for now?
This is a newly promoted team in the league. It will be unveiled on Sunday.
Okay.
Hopefully, we'll have a game on Sunday, but it will be unveiled. But we'll see new faces in the league, a more competitive team, maybe even stronger than the boys. Who knows? So, which will bring competition. Yeah, this team is here to replace paramilitary Simba.
Oh, so, okay. Oh, yeah, they want to be part of this season.
We brought in a new team.
Okay.
Maybe Project Blue Stars, who knows?
Why did you not say Project Blue Stars? Blue Stars, I hope you come to this one. Blue Stars. They've been a good team. I love the dedication of Blue Stars. In as much as they were not getting those much needed points, but they still showed up. Because I don't think there's any team that won a walkover against the Blue Stars. They were always present, coming up in numbers and playing up to their last minute of the game. So they need a medal. I think we award Blue Stars a medal, a fair play award. Yes. So I think YVOK, Mr. Chilesh and Yukigan need to look into that, so that maybe the boys can just be given that another sort of motivation, so that they can continue participating in the Information and Communications University League. To our viewers, we're not leaving you behind. We're not talking about the Information and Communications University League. To our new students at the Information and Communications University, so there's a league that takes place here at the Information and Communications University. The games are always played on Saturdays and Sundays. So if you are a player, now we're not an active player for like that, but at least your spirit and dedication here, bowler. Please, you can see Mr. Kegan here, there's Chilesho YVOK. You can ask, people can add you in different groups so that you can come up, you can join one of the teams. There are a lot of teams. There's Wolves FC, there's Blue Stars, Kafio Celtic, Athletic Pirates. There are a number of teams in the ICU League. So shifting to the Information and Communications University Computer Boys participating in the upcoming ZUSA. Of course, we all watched the previous ZUSA, the previous Independence Games, which were hosted by UNZA. Of course, it wasn't a good run for the Computer Boys. They tried. Do you think this year's ZUSA, they're going to do what's so much expected of them? Because I remember I had a conversation with their former captain, Niven. He was telling me to say they've brought in new players and they're tactical this time around. They're trying by all means to just use a different strategy going into Mulungushi University for the same ZUSA games. So, Mr. Kegan, you've been part of the team, you've been part of the organizing team, you've been supporting the Computer Boys. Do you think there are any changes that the Computer Boys have made, starting from the midfield, striking, and the back four?
Yes, absolutely. There are a lot of changes which have come in, which I think was one of the missing keys. Because the Computer Boys, mostly when you go to ZUSA, defense-wise, midfield-wise, were very good. That's why the story mostly is whenever each opponent you play with, they leave the pitch saying, you guys play such good football, but I don't know why you don't win. You just fail to kill the game. So when the team plays good and fails to kill the game, it comes down to what's not having clinical strikers. So due to the case of the IC Premier League, now we've been able to notice some certain strikers. We've got Dominic is an upcoming striker, still developing, and we've got other good strikers as well coming up. So at least now we're having more number 9s at the pitch, and it's just a matter of working around those strikers and help them get those goals when you go for the tournament. In midfield, we've got recruitments, we've got players like Pedri, Hazard, who've played a couple of games, and they've shown some quality. So it's about the preparation with the month we have left, and it's good to have new players on the pitch. So I don't think there's much improvement when it comes to the Computer Boys, which has to be worked on, apart from the scoring. They play very beautiful football, those guys, especially the midfield, yeah.
Right, so looking at the fact that the Zambia University Sports Association Varsity Games ZUSA is a very big tournament, and we just can't slide on the Information and Communications University Computer Boys. Of course, we can still talk about some other universities, the likes of Mulungushi University. They hosted the ZUSA last year in March. They won it at their home ground. They went on to play the Independence Games. They won. And now again, it's coming back at their home ground. What do you think of Mulungushi University, Mr. Ancham?
That was a very good run for them last year. After saving their ban, remember they had the ban because of us, because of ICU. So after saving the ban, they're now back with good numbers, good games. They're playing really good football. For them to be defending champion, twice, which is a very good thing. And they've shown that they are showing dedication on the pitch and the fighting spirit.
Okay.
Yes.
So they're a good team. They can still compete for the.
Yeah, they can still compete. Yeah, I feel like they can still compete because of how they've now developed. Being away has given them that hunger to come now compete with the biggest universities.
Alright, to our viewers who are not leaving you behind, we're now talking about the Zambia University Sports Association, that's the ZUSA Varsity Games that are scheduled to take place on the 23rd of March 2026 all the way up to the 29th of March 2026. Let's now shift direct into basketball. Gorilla. So the basketball team of the Information and Communications University, they've been having a good run. Every time they are participating in this ZUSA, they've always had a good run. If not the quarterfinals, then the semifinals. So, do you think, okay, I just recently started watching basketball, but I think I've become so familiar with the type of scorings, and I don't know much about how they score, they count the points and everything, but I've watched the Gorillas play, and they've been playing so good. So, talking about the independence games that were held at the University of Zambia, of course, they lost to Apex Medical University in a game that if they won, they were going to advance to the finals of the competition. I don't know who I'm going to point at who knows at least a bit about basketball. Do you think when we look at our players, do you think we need some new players, or maybe we just need to change our tactics or so to maybe improve and maybe just bring back that trophy home?
Okay, so I think I'll start, can tackle that one. For the Gorillas, I don't think there's even much of new tactics needed. I don't think there's need of a lot of improvement. I think it all just comes down to time and just again they need to kill the game. I think that's the issue with the Gorillas, because if you watch the Apex game, what was happening was that most Apex players and the Gorillas, these are mostly friends outside the pitch.
Oh, yeah.
That's one thing I hate from what
that.
Yeah. So they train together, they know each other. So that game was very, very tactical, whereby if it was football, it's that thing whereby me as a defender, for example, if I'm playing with a winger who I always play with and is my friend and I know his weakness, the best situations it would be very easy to mark him, raise it, put him in offsides. So I'm using a football example because they said you don't know basketball.
Yeah.
So that was the situation for the Gorillas. You find that the situations whereby this Apex was committing deliberate penalties because they knew maybe their good penalty taker wasn't available and they knew the guy taking the penalties maybe might not capitalize on all of them. Then when they missed, you saw they would capitalize on the counter attack after missing the penalty. So I don't think the Gorillas need a lot of improvement. I think it's just killing the game. And yeah, there's nothing to say. Those guys are good. There's nothing to say much.
All right, so I think I'm asking to the Gorillas. I know that there are a number of Gorillas watching this interview. Please, Havana Gorilla, I'm asking if I can have two of the players from the Gorillas just here on the Sports Smart. I need to have the conversation with them. Of course, because the reason why I'm saying so, I remember going towards that game, especially against Apex Medical University. I had a friend from Apex Medical University and he was telling me to say, we know what's going to happen. We know the best five you're going to use. So it's that thing whereby these people already know the Gorillas. You understand? So they know to say, when the Gorillas play, of course, they're going to start Mwala Chawos, who is a very good player. They're going to start the big gorilla. What's his name? No, the other big gorilla. What's his name? Wakanda. Of course, they know. He plays for Material Magic, right?
They've lost a very important player again. I'll talk
About that.
No, Chin. Mr. Shabba, you were on cameras. Okay, so like I was saying, yes, of course, they're going to say, you're going to play Wakanda, you're going to play Mwala, of course, you're going to start Kongwano, maybe he's going to play later. And then, not forgetting the likes of Steele is going to start. They also know to say Sonda might play in that game. So it's that thing whereby whichever team is going to face the Gorillas, they always have that mindset to say, we are going to face these players. So, Mr. Shamba, do you think that thing also affects the Gorillas in a way that people from outside, they know these players, of course, because they play for different clubs and they've been spectacular playing for their clubs. Do you think it affects the Gorillas in some sort of way?
For the Gorillas, they've got good players, well experienced players, playing in the top basketball clubs in Zambia. So they bring that experience, and from just like football, when you're choosing your best players, you have to choose the top cream. So I believe that starting five is the top cream, regardless of their teamwork and everything. So I feel like that shouldn't be a big burden because the chemistry is already there in that five, so they just have to put more hard work because it's a very good team, and where they reach, it really shows that they put in that work.
All right, so I think I was going to ask you guys a lot of questions, but I feel like they're the best people to answer these questions. Because I think I'll start from maybe just getting to know about basketball more so that they can explain to me. Because there are situations whereby I'm watching this game and I'm looking at, of course, Stilo is a very good shooter. He can score from, he scores and everything. And then I would say, why would Jasalonga? So like it keeps me thinking to say, okay, so I think the Gorillas, once again, I'm asking if you can come on the Sports Smarts, the ultimate question and answer challenge. Of course, we call the Sports Smarts the ultimate question and answer challenge, but this time around it will be having a conversation and just letting the viewers know, like, especially that viewer who's like me, who doesn't know much about football. Please, about basketball, maybe you can be the best people to explain. Otherwise, the Zambia University Sports Association Varsity Games, that's ZUSA, are underway. The preparations have already started. Universities are preparing. Not forgetting that the ZUSA doesn't just consist of football. There's netball, there's chess, there's basketball, there's table tennis, all sorts of sports disciplines. And the ZUSA will be held at the Mulungushi University. Gentlemen, in closing, let's talk about the women's, the Zambia Under-20 Women's Africa Cup, World Cup that's scheduled to be played in Poland. Of course, the girls will be taking on Uganda tomorrow at the Levi Mwanawasa Stadium. What's your prediction of the girls, Mr. Chambo, starting with you?
It's a good team, good young players, showing fighting spirit, maturing very well. Looking at their elder sisters and how they've upgraded and have set the bar high, so they have to follow those footsteps. Them being indoor, I know the couple of people in Zambia really give football that helping hand, so they'll have that backup and hope they will carry the day.
In closing, Mr. Kega, prediction tomorrow's game.
I'm going for
The girls to win 2-0. Best of home advantage and best of the last game that I watched. They're really good on the counter. They're quick on the counter attack, which is one thing I love about the female football team. I don't know if it's an internal structure, but even the seniors, we might be defending on a low block or defending, but when we have the ball, it's all about straight of going to go. We don't really play position football type of game. It's quick counter, and I love quick counter football. So I'm going for a 2-0 win, just for the sake of, I know Uganda also has quite a good team. I saw some results. When they hosted us. So, but I'm giving it to the girls 2-0. Yeah.
Right, so to our viewers, we've been live on the Information and Communications University. That's Icu TV on Facebook. Not forgetting the Zambia Research and Development Center. It's sad that we're coming to the end of the program, but before we close, gentlemen, thank you very much for coming through once again. When I just call you to say Sports Smarts for Friday, read and set. Yeah, so to that viewer who's watching us for the first time, this is the Sports Smarts. It comes to you live every Friday at 16 hours on the Information and Communications University. That's the main page on Facebook. Also the Information and Communications University television, that Icu TV, not forgetting the Zambia Research and Development Center. From me, Stephen Chisengamwape, otherwise your very own sports combo journalist, we say goodbye until next time.